Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Inner Cosmetics. I'm Elbene. Excited that you're here. We're going to dive right into the conversation, Neo, because this is about you. And a perfect reminder that when we're doing these conversations, they're not some whimsical conversation about some fantasy and, just nothing wrong with that either, right? But this is purpose because we're purpose. And these are avenues of exploring ourselves. I love saying ourselves, S or CELLS, exploring ourselves on a deeper level. The Matrix has been that component that unraveled so much of this world that we're presently in. And it's allowing it to serve as a platform to hold these discussions because each character is an element of our self. So if you have missed any of the videos that we did prior, you didn't, just check out the playlist. There's one done for the Oracle, there's one done for Morpheus, and here we are now, the main character, you. And it's called Neo. So Neo was an interesting one because, he is introducing us to the source. And that's ultimately what we're here in this realm looking to unravel. How do we get back to source? How do we wind back to peace? Well, it's definitely shown throughout the Matrix. So let's get in there. Now, it started here, the heart. For myself, I received the message to begin returning to the heart because that thinking, mechanism of thinking or believing that it comes from in our mind can only get us so far. Now, everything does have its place because the mind got you to that point where you can no longer go. And it's that point that you have to release all the effort, all the physical, everything that you believed and let go. And as you do that, you fall into your heart. There is the intuition. You're always in love, but there's always deeper levels of everything. So when you fall into your heart, you're unlocking so much that goes beyond the mind. And that's called consciousness. So once you're in consciousness, you're pulling information that is in the infinite, which is much closer to who you are because it is. It's you. You are the infinite. You are the unlimited. And as I begin falling into my heart space, more things unravel. Now, if you didn't see the one Instagram video where I talked about this, I'll mention it here. The green that is so prevalent in our world, we see it out in nature. And it's a universal color in the heart chakra. Green is representative of the heart chakra. And I thought that was really, really interesting that message of, green started playing into my experience. And then it said, well, what else is also green? And I said, oh, money. And I thought that was fascinating because here you have love, the essence of who we are, vibrating at green. And then you have money, the essence of what we think and believe we need to get things that we want in life, operating and vibrating on the same level. And it just opened up where the conflict within ourselves and our experience can really stem from because we have source, which is us, because we're love. And we think the means to our ends is money. And it allows us to really challenge ourselves in a good way to believe, to ask yourself, do you really believe you are the source? Or do you really believe that the physical money is the source to your answer? What's the answer? And that's what this realm is creating, the opportunity for us to ascend by our beliefs. Because physical and source are both operating on that same vibration. And I thought that was profound It was an opportunity to fall more in trusting and asking to show me the way back to self because I am the source. And that green really, really stood out to me. And so I began intentionally stepping more into the greenery of nature. That's the green that I want to get close to. The peace, the tranquility is there. And that also adds to your own love vibration as well, you know? So moving forward, well, what even makes up a color? Vibrations. And again, the main topic of this conversation is Neo. And this is a background of how it even came to the clarity of Neo and of the character by this route here. So what makes up the colors? Well, a hexadecimal numbering system. And that is used to, the hexadecimal numbering system is used to represent larger numbers. And it's a numbering system based on the number 16. So you have your I believe it's 0 to 9. Look into it. But the hexadecimal system, right? So turning on the matrix once more, I then began noticing, which you'll do as well, that the green in the background and the numbers falling down, you know, and so I was like, oh, I never picked those up before, you know, and I thought that was interesting to pick that up. And again, some people look at this film as an action film, when in reality, it's a documentary. It's just another guide for us. When the time is meant for us to understand that, understand it, then it is. So when I was looking at this hexadecimal system, I said, oh, okay, this is fun. But if I'm returning to source, then there would have to be something that precedes the hexadecimal system, because that goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm source. Well, what makes up the hexadecimal system? Well, if you want to rewind it back to anything in this life, it's nothing, right? Well, what is nothing? If you want to capture that in a symbol, 0 is 360 degrees, the void. And I said, interesting. So if you're sitting here with a 0, where does duality, where does more numbers, where do they come in? By introduction of a 1. A 1 is a simple shape. It's a line, right? Once you take that 1 and you place it in the center of a 0, now you introduce infinite potential. You introduce polarity, and you introduce duality just by that 1, right? So hence Neo's name, the 1. That's why he's called the 1. And what's interesting with his name is, despite his name being called the 1, or his name actually is Neo, but he's called the 1. Why is that? Why would his name be Neo, but he's called the 1? Well, what does 1 begin with? And what is the shape of that symbol or letter? All right, now let's look at his name, Neo. What is that letter? And what is the shape of that letter? So what is being that symbolic of is, I am the beginning and the end. I am the beginning and the end. The 0 and the 0 is representative of that. And his name really is a trinity, because out of the void, out of that 0, you have 3, because that 1 divides that 0, splits it into duality, and out of the void, you now have 3. So the trinity is in there as well. And then his name, Neo, it's scrambled reality, right? O-N-E-N-E-O. It's not backwards. No, it's scrambled around. So there's so much in there. And that's why we are one and we're nothing all at the same time. And in Jada Pickett's character, when she's introduced, she's asked, do you believe in him now? And she says, no, I don't believe in the one, but I believe in him. Because the one is the beginning of duality. Initially, when I was confused by her statement because I thought, the one, he's doing all this. I took it to believe the one as in chosen. But she's talking more binary, right? Yes, binary duality. I don't believe in the one, but I believe in him, which is zero, source. So, well, how do we return to source? Because in nothing, there's everything. So how do we return to that? And that's where this whole binary system was really helpful, even understanding the zero and the one, because you can now rewind it back to understand how do you return to source. And it's like with anything, begin with where we are. So if we are this one, we want to return to source, we have to start with our belief, with our thinking. That one introduces two sides. Now we have good, evil, rich, poor, happy, sad. So we have to rewind it back to the zero and take out the duality of everything in this world that we're in. Start from where we are. And as we release all of the duality, then more will be revealed. But start with where we are. And that's it for this conversation, is Neo understanding that we're not the one, but we are the chosen, but we're not the one. We are currently, as long as we're in duality, but we're returning to source. So let's start with releasing duality. Remember also, too, the greenery and the green. If we're tied up in issues and problems, most of the time, those issues and problems stem from not knowing how to get money to solve our problem. Remember, I am the beginning and the end. Look to source, which is you. Don't look for money. That's the end result. That's a manifestation. We want to go to the source because therein is the answer. All right, guys, enjoyed this conversation with you. I hope you did as well. Looking forward to your comments and conversations, and I'll talk to you all on the next video. Until then, stay blessed.